Hello, hello, hello. Where's Miss Cass? I'm glad you asked. Hey, everybody, it's your girl, Miss Cass, Vice President of Community Engagement for Exit Strategy Realty, Principal Broker for the Aspire Group powered by Exit Strategy Realty, your neighborhood realtor, investor, and educator, heavy on the education, connecting you to the community through real estate. Today, we are actually in the final session for our Equity in Action 4-part virtual series in honor of Fair Housing and Fair Housing Month. Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment to thank everybody who might be joining on our Facebook page, on my Facebook page, LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as Instagram. Yes, we are on 4 platforms. And today is a little different. We are not having a special guest speaker. Today, it is going to be about a review of the previous 3 sessions, in addition to, well, let's just say a little treat that I was moved to share with you guys in honor of Fair Housing. This was totally unscripted, but I like to work intentionally, and something really touched me over this past few days. And I want to be able to share this with my audience. So please stay and hang out with me. Engage, you can comment, but without further ado, I really want us to jump into a little bit about what we learned during our last few sessions. So I'm just going to do some quick reminders on our sessions and what was covered. And in case you missed them, all of these sessions are currently on my platforms. I'm not so sure about Instagram, but I can guarantee you that these sessions are already located on my Facebook, my LinkedIn, as well as my YouTube channel. So please feel free to visit the last 3 sessions if you want a refresher. But we're going to dive right in today. So the first session was with our Illinois Realtor President from 2022 and our designated managing broker, Zeke Morris of Exit Strategy Realty EMA Management, our Southside location, which is located 7300 South Cottage Grove. We had a wonderful conversation with Mr. Zeke, as I affectionately call him. And what he covered was a fair housing overview. He talked about the general overview of fair housing and why it matters. He also talked about the historical reminder of how we got here, where we are currently, where the market is, and honestly, how those past policies still impact today's housing market. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Mr. Zeke for spending time with me during that first session. In addition to that, we also watched a video recapping a highlighted fair housing video, sharing some words of wisdom and some history from our very own Frank Williams of FJ Williams Realty, a pioneer in the real estate industry here in Chicago, specifically in the Beverly community. He was in the Beverly community when he was not welcomed in the Beverly community, and he lived through everything that fair housing fought against and fought for. So special shout out to Frank Williams. And I wanted to share Mr. Zeke's information in case people don't have his information. So let me do this. Let me pull up Mr. Zeke's information in case you need to contact him, in case you would like for him to speak on any future events. He's also very well invested in the property management scene. And again, he is our Illinois Realtor 2022 president. So very powerful, great information source. He's like a walking computer when it comes to history. And he is also doing some very cool things at EMA Realty, Exit Strategy Realty / EMA Management, on Chicago's South Side. So his information is there. Our office location is there. We do have 4 office locations. Exit in total. We have a location on the South Side. We have a location on Clark Street. We have a location in Skokie, and we also have a location in Joliet Plainfield. So that's my Exit Strategy Realty shameless plug. Got a pretty solid leadership team. So shouts out to Mr. Zeke. Again, thank you for spending time with me and really for sharing. Thank you so much. We really, really, really appreciate it. Hello, Mr. Seals. Hey, hey, hey. He's joining us from LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining us. He has a pretty amazing story too. So perhaps future sessions, you and I need to connect and you need to get up on stage with me so you can talk a little bit about your journey being a veteran, being in the industry as a lender, and really what that means to you. So shouts out to you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Feel free to stay and hang out and invite a few more people if you like. So that was session one. So with session one, we actually covered all of the things that I just mentioned, right? And then we dived into session number two. And so session number two was really about protecting your long-term investments, right? So we had Ed Beavers come and speak to us. Ed Beavers is a wealth management strategist and an insurance professional with Country Financial. So what he came to show us was common gaps in homeowners insurance. He showed us about coverage risks and coverage gaps, as I mentioned, and he talked about wealth protection. One of the things that I really took away from that conversation was how important it is to get flood insurance. He was very, very articulate as he explained the common mistakes that we make as property owners in not getting flood insurance or sump pump insurance or sump pump coverage. And so it's really important that we think about not only the typical homeowners insurance, but that we also think about flood insurance, sump pump backup insurance, things of that nature, because those are not common and they don't come covered in a standard home ownership policy. And I can share with you, I have a building on the south side of Chicago, and there's something going on with the plumbing, with the city in my basement. And I've had several people come out and take a look at it. And a lot of times when it rains, and this happens in a lot of our basements here, the water backs back into our basements. And so that's what I'm dealing with. And so when he talked about that, it was very important and it hit home for me because I'm experiencing this right now. So those were some things that he talked about. And I just want to thank Ed Beavers. I know he has an event coming up tomorrow. I'm going to do my best to try to make it. But he talked about that. And not only did he talk about it, but a few weeks before, he actually co-sponsored an event at our Exit Strategy Realty Southside office, which was estate planning along with attorney Mario Reed. Although attorney Mario Reed has not been a part of our fair housing series, he is certainly an asset to the fair housing community. And so one of the things that he talked about was estate planning, another missed opportunity for our community. So shouts out to them both. And I wanted to share Ed Beavers' information in case you missed that. And you all, maybe you wanted to reach out to Ed on your own time. He also mentioned that he would actually review policies, homeownership policies, for anybody who had an interest in understanding if there were any gaps in coverage, which I thought was really phenomenal because you get to have a second pair of eyes on that homeowner's insurance policy. And how often do we get that opportunity to just have a second pair of eyes in the insurance realm? Looking over your homeowner's policy, making sure that we don't have any gaps. I know I need it. I certainly took him up on that offer, and we'll be sharing my policy with him because things are changing and rates are changing. And that's another thing that we should be doing constantly is not only looking at coverage, but which rates are competitive, but also understanding when you have an opportunity to get homeowners insurance and you decide to switch coverage, make sure that we're taking a look at all the coverage that we're gaining and that we are losing. So on the screen, you see Ed Beavers, his contact information, his cell phone number is here. Feel free to screenshot that so that way you can connect with him, get your homeowner's insurance policy looked at, and in addition to getting that policy looked at, Talk to him about all of the wealth building tools that he has in his tool belt. So that was session number 2. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to screenshot his information. All right. Now let's do this. Let's move on and talk a little bit about our last session. We had a wonderful time covering protections in lending with our very own Joy Senegar Munoz of Rate Bronzeville. And one of the things that Joy talked about was the history and the effects of redlining. We really dove into that conversation. If you missed that, you truly missed a treat because the gloves were off. We talked also about current lending hurdles, which are impacting our community. And there were a lot of tips and tools that were shared on that session 3. So if you missed that one, again, those are posted on Facebook permanently, posted on my LinkedIn permanently, as well as my YouTube channel. So please visit either 3 of those platforms to re-engage yourself and really learn about the conversation that we had. We also talked about how lending discrimination is still showing up today. And one of the things that we covered was appraisal bias. And we know that that is something that is really holding communities on the south side and the west side of Chicago back. And when we say appraisal bias, we are simply referring to the valuation that is performed on our properties in comparison to valuations that have been performed on properties in other communities. A lot of times what we have seen is that a lot of people in the community do not speak up about those biases. And if a property is sometimes underappraised, we as a community don't really understand the steps on how to fight that appraisal. And so we talked about possibly doing more on that topic in the future. I know that there are several subject matter experts who are boots on the ground doing some of this work, who have done some of this work. Our own Chicago Association Realtors President, Lutalo McGee of Ani Real Estate, has been doing some amazing work in that area. And so I want to make sure that I give flowers to where flowers are due. So perhaps that is a conversation that we need to dive into a little bit deeper, and perhaps we need to revisit it. So you guys hold me honest, hold me accountable, and keep me honest, I should say, on bringing more about that. I think the last thing we covered with Joy was the protections and strategies for financing fairly. Again, if you missed that session, that was session 3. If you are in the process of refinancing, if you are in the process of purchasing, there were some nuggets that were inside of that session specifically for you. So that is definitely a session that you want to go back and revisit. And if you have trouble finding it, you can certainly reach out to me and I can get that sent over to you. So as with all of our guest speakers, let me share Joy's contact information. Again, if you are in the industry and you are in the market, I should say, and you're looking to purchase, or perhaps you've purchased and maybe you want to grab a little bit of that equity that we've all earned, you can certainly reach out to her and her team. She is the producing branch manager and the VP of mortgage lending at Rate Bronzeville. She has hosted several community-based workshops alongside myself and other people in the industry. We have done tax workshops. They have done conceal and carry workshops with some of my other peers. Shouts out to Foster and Joy for hosting that. That was an amazing conceal and carry class from what I can see. And Joy is always in the community doing something special and really, really giving back to the community. She is truly boots on the ground, a boots on the ground lender, and she puts her money and her time where her mouth is. And so I just want to thank her. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about Joy, we both just finished the cohort for By the Block for the Resident Association of Greater Inglewood. So shouts out to Rage Inglewood, Aisha Butler, and her team. We both were a part of that very phenomenal cohort which is teaching Chicagoans how to stay in the Inglewood community and how to invest in the Inglewood community by buying multifamilies. So I thought that was really cool. So that's Joy's information there. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to capture her information. And again, we work together. We are a great team. So if there are any buyers in the industry and you just don't know if you're ready to buy, she's a great person and a great asset to reach out to. Even if you don't feel like you're ready, you can certainly reach out to her and we can get you ready. Okay, we can get you ready. So shouts out to Joy and the wonderful team at Rate Bronzeville. All right. So that was really what we covered in those last 3 sessions. That was like the Cliff Notes version of what we covered. So today is going to feel a little different because I do not have a guest speaker if you're just joining. And if you are joining from Facebook, thank you. If you're joining from LinkedIn, thank you. YouTube, thank you. Or if you're joining from Instagram, I certainly appreciate you as well. We are going to jump into something that I felt needed to be shared as we celebrate the end of Fair Housing Month, because what I'm getting ready to show you is an example of how you make sure that you continue to practice what we preach, right? And so I'm going to bring up some information here. Instagram is having some issues. I'm just going to be transparent. So this might fall off of Instagram. So if you're on Instagram and you're watching, pop on over to Facebook or LinkedIn so that you guys don't miss out on the action. Okay. So we're going to keep it moving again. Here we go. 1 second. I want to present this. So this is going to be a video. This is a video and I don't want to spoil it. I really want you to tell me what you guys think. Feel free to add comments and engage once you see this. 1 second.
What would it look like to repair what rate impact of that history?
Hold on, guys. I'm going to let me move all of the 1 second. Here we go.
Denied Black families from access to home loans and business loans. So white investors took advantage and sold homes on land sale contracts, which made Black families one block. On this block alone, 15 homes were stolen from aspiring Black homeowners through racist land sale contracts in the 1950s and 60s. Redlining denied Black families from access to home loans and business loans. So white investors took advantage and sold homes on land sale contracts, which made Black families believe that they owned the homes when they actually didn't. Black families made payments, struggled to afford repairs, and could be evicted after just one missed payment, while the white investors never maintained the homes and let them fall apart. So after decades of disinvestment, many of these homes need costly repairs that the owners simply can't afford. And so the residents on this block are still struggling with the impact of that history. So to help this block heal, I created the Unblock Inglewood Project in partnership with my friends, Chicago Bungalow Association. And since 2022, we have raised over $2 million to repair what historic racism has stole from this block. New roofs, new back porches, new furnaces, new plumbing, updated electrical. We've acquired 5 vacant lots and are transferring them to residents who cared for them for decades. We installed a new block club sign designed by residents. Artist Bianca Pastel created this mural. Kenya Moffitt Garner created these sculptures. And MacArthur Fellow Amanda Williams recreated George Washington Carver's blue pigment paint, and we used it to paint one of the homes on this block. Artist and Inglewood Arts Collective co-founder Janelle Nelson relocated her flower sculpture here, and now we're in the process of acquiring this abandoned home from the Cook County Land Bank so we can renovate it and sell it to a young Black family at no profit. And none of this would be possible without 16th Ward Alderman Stephanie Coleman, who has supported this work every step of the way. This is what it looks like to repair what was taken, and this is what it looks like to invest in a neighborhood.
All right. So hopefully you all had a chance to see that and view that. I want to shout out Tanika Johnson for her work. And doing this work is not easy, right? But she has really been amazing when it comes to utilizing her platform and really encouraging other people to utilize their platform. Hi, Miss Edna. Good evening. Shouts out to Miss Edna, my team member at the Aspire Group, powered by Exit Strategy Realty, holding down everything in the South Suburbs. She's been doing some great things as well. Thank you for joining as always. Going back to Tanika Johnson and Unblocked Inglewood, what an awesome project. And so when I think of what we can do after this month is over, there's your example. Here's an activist who is using her artistry in order to put the land back into the hands of the people in which it should have belonged to originally, right? This is someone who is uncovering all of the misdoings as it relates to valuations, land sales contracts. And this is not her first project. She has several projects. So I just wanted to take a moment to shout out Tanika Johnson. If you do not know who Tanika Johnson is, she does not even know I am having this conversation about her. She does not know that I shared her video. That was just something that was so intentional and so appropriate for a time such as this. Her and the Chicago Bungalow Association are actually partnering for Unblocked Inglewood. And you all heard her $2 million has been raised. That is not a small feat. And for that, I say she certainly deserves a round of applause. Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, again, Tanika Johnson, thank you for all that you do. I shouted out Rage earlier. Thank you for all that you guys are doing. And there are so many other organizations that are literally boots on the ground here in Chicago, outside of Chicago, in the outlying suburbs, in Cook County, in Will County, in Kane County, DuPage County, that are certainly doing the work. And so my call to action would be, what are we going to do? One of the things that I've committed to doing is certainly shedding more light, right, on the fair housing aspect here in Chicago. And I'm so glad that I had a chance to put my money and my time where my mouth was, right, and my efforts. So yesterday, the Chicago Association of Realtors and our diversity committee, affectionately known as D77, had a wonderful conversation and a lunch and learn with Chicago Housing Authority's Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart is the manager of the program, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of the program, so I apologize. But basically, the program that he is over is Choose to Own. There we go. The Choose to Own program and the Home program. So he is the curator of the most recent down payment assistance that came from CHA. That is something that he presented, created, owned, and made happen. He actually came to speak to us yesterday. And when I say us, I say I am talking about ambassadors for the D77 Diversity Committee under the Chicago Association of Realtors. Many of you don't know, but I serve as the chair, 2025-2026 chair for the D77 Diversity Committee. And our committee is dedicated to making sure that there is adequate representation, realtor representation in all of our 77, possibly 78 communities. So I also wanted to share just a little bit about the Diversity Committee so you can know who is in your particular communities. So bear with me as I'm that information up. And again, we actually had a wonderful time with Jimmy Stewart from the Chicago Housing Authority yesterday. We went through an entire presentation which focuses on having a better understanding of housing and how to help clients take their vouchers, their Chicago Housing Authority vouchers, their housing choice vouchers, and turn them into payments towards their mortgage. How powerful is that? There were so many oohs and ahs in the room. A lot of people had no idea that this was even a program that existed. And they are coming up on their 1,000th person who has gone through this program to become a homeowner. So more to come on that. Very exciting times for Jimmy Stewart and his team. I am just plugging in here. I wanted to show you guys a little bit about the diversity committee while I have your ear. But yes, shouts out to CHA and Jimmy Stewart for all that they do. Shouts out, shouts out. So just so you know, the Chicago Association of Realtors is the association in which I am a member, and many realtors here in Chicago and even outside of Chicago are actually realtors within the Chicago Association of Realtors. And I am going to share my screen so you all can see what I'm seeing, and you can learn a little bit more about the D77. So again, this is our diversity committee. We do a lot in the community as it relates to events. We host events. We take part in events. We partner with other groups and committees within the Chicago Association of Realtors. We have certain community ambassadors. And so this is a D77 map. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. This is our D77 map, which shares all of the communities in which we want to have representation. We don't quite have representation in all of these areas, but if you are a realtor in Chicago and you're part of the Chicago Association of Realtors, I would highly encourage you to reach out to me if you see a community on this map and you would like to know if it has representation or not, because I'm also excited to say that our applications are finally open for the 2026 to 2027 year for our committee. So shouts out to everybody at CAR who has been working hard to help us get those applications, get that application opened. And so again, these are just some of our links here. And this information can be found at the Chicago Association of Realtors. So if you go to chicagorealtor.com/groups and networks/the77, you will certainly find this, or you could just reach out to me for the link if you just want to know a little bit more about us. Again, we do want to focus on having representation in all 77, possibly 78 communities. And if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me. So that's just a little bit about the D77. So yes, Jimmy Stewart came and we had a wonderful class, a wonderful lunch and learn yesterday. Just talking about how we can make sure that we quiet the stigma around vouchers, which is also something that we have to do better as a city, county, and as a state. There's a lot of stigmas around voucher holders, and a lot of that comes from this industry, comes from outside of our industry. It comes from lack of education, more importantly. And so we had a wonderful talk about that and how we want to continue to drive awareness that these programs are really to benefit a community, not to hold it back. So shouts out to Jimmy Stewart from the Chicago Housing Authority. If he's out there, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you for the work that you do. But that was really all I had, guys. I wanted to give us a quick overview of what happened through the last 3 sessions. This is actually session 4. No guest speakers. Sorry, it's just me. And just wanted to share again those highlights. Don't forget to check out Unblocked Inglewood. Unblocked Inglewood with Tanika Johnson and the Chicago Bungalow Association. Actually, hold on one second. So Unblocked Inglewood is actually located on Tanika Johnson's website as well as partners at the Chicago Bungalow Association. So shouts out to them. And this is what you're going to see when you do chicagobungalow.org/unblocked. You are going to see this beautiful page that talks about everything that they have been doing to restore a community that has been so heavily disinvested. And you can drive through the block, 6500 South Aberdeen in the Inglewood community, Inglewood, to see the work that is actually being done. But more importantly, understand that they are repairing 16 homes. 2/3 of those homes on the block have ongoing maintenance scheduled. That is not an easy feat. And so as we think about fair housing and restoration, right, and reparations, restoration, reparation, and reinvestment, this is a great opportunity to learn about what's going on. Take this model to your community, take this model to your block and see how this can be done in your very own community. They've assisted residents in applying for and purchasing vacant lots, which she shared in the video. And they installed a new wonderful block club sign, which doesn't have all of the no parking, no loud music. Have you seen those before? Like no parking, no loud music, no car washing, no car repairs on the front. Like, okay, calm down, we get it. But it's much more welcoming and it exhibits neighborhood pride and identity for that particular community. So shouts out to her, all of her partners, all of the artists, everyone that's a part of Unblocked Inglewood. And more importantly, you see this button here? If you cannot physically donate, that's okay. Donate your funds, because you know that it's going to a great cause, right? Even if you don't live in Inglewood, but you believe in what she's doing, you can go right here to donate. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Again, this was going to be a very, very informal breakdown of the last few sessions. I don't have anything else. And so guess what? You get a chance to have time back in your schedule. I don't see any questions. Thank you so much for everybody who decided to join. And again, if you miss it for any reason, it will be parked permanently on my Facebook, LinkedIn, and my YouTube. Me and Instagram are going to have to have a conversation. So I'm going to work on that. But I just wanted to thank everyone who joined us. And again, if you are looking for a realtor who is in the community, whether you are an organization, whether you are a business, workshops can be done in your place of business. If you are an institution, financial institution, you're a bank, you're a lender, workshops can be done within your office. If you are a faith-based organization, I come to you, I can come to your congregation, to your house of worship. If you would like me to host sessions in front of your congregation just about real estate, if there's someone who's looking to get into real estate, if they're looking to purchase, if someone is potentially looking to sell, looking to invest, or looking to develop, you can text Miss Cass to 85377. My information is below, and I will also drop in my phone number. One second. In case you have any real estate needs. I service the entire city of Chicago and the suburbs, and we have an entire team. We have over 200 agents. So wherever I don't touch, I have a team member that does. So don't be worried about that. We got that under control. We got that under control here at Exit Strategy Realty. And so this is my direct number. This goes directly to my phone. If you have any real estate needs or you would like me to come and speak, I do oftentimes do one or two volunteer events. I am moving into paid speaking engagements. Super, super excited about that. So if you are interested in my speaker bio page and that information, feel free to also reach out and let me know, and I can share that with you as well. All right. So any real estate needs or paid speaking engagements, again, that is my phone number. If you need me to email you over my speaker bio page or the package, the different packages, I can certainly do that as well. I do volunteer once or twice a month. So depending on your organization, if you are a non-for-profit, you probably will not have to worry about compensating me for my time, because that is something that I do at least once or twice a month. Outside of that, I'm open to new speaking engagements. My calendar for May is completely open right now. May and June. I'm not sure about July and August because I have some things coming up. But that is my direct contact information. And if you just feel better with the text, you can certainly text me as well. My text Miss Cass to 85377 is there at the bottom. But yep, that's all I have, you guys. I wanted to thank everybody for joining Equity in Action, hosted by your girl, Miss Cass. This 4-part virtual series in honor of April, which is Fair Housing Month and also Financial Literacy Month. So I'm glad that we touched on both. And they are both still very much so needed within our community. So this conversation does not have to stop. If you have topics that you'd like for me to cover in future webinars, please let me know. I am open to feedback as well. Shouts out to StreamYard, one of the best platforms that I have ever operated on. Certainly appreciate them and being able to do this simultaneously on multiple platforms. Super, super important. Again, thank you all so much for joining. I look forward to the next session. And I got some things up my sleeve. So stay tuned, because I've actually really enjoyed this 4-part series, and it really just showed me what's possible. So I'm going to be stepping out on some new things. So if you're out there and you're in the industry, don't be surprised if you get an email from me asking to join me in a future session. All right. That's all I got, everybody. Thank you for joining. It's your girl, Miss Cass. Hopefully you have a wonderful Wednesday. Oh, before I go, tomorrow I'm going to be hosting along with my partners from Say So Global. If you are interested in learning about investing overseas, specifically in West Africa, right now, Say So Global, the team that I am a part of, I am an affiliate with Say So Global. We have partnerships with developers in Nigeria, Ghana, and Liberia. And we are actually going to be opening that up soon to other countries. So please, please, please stay tuned for that. That is going to be tomorrow. You do have to text me so I can send you the link so that I can get that sent over to you. So you can text me at 773-503-3352, or you can text Miss Cass to 85377 so I can get the registration link. That is going to be tomorrow, 5:30 Central Standard Time. It will not be on my platforms, so I will not have the honor of streaming it, but this is something that I am talking to them about. So we are looking at moving our upcoming sessions, which we are going to be having one per month. We're looking at moving those sessions onto a StreamYard platform so that we can stream on multiple platforms. Okay. But that is my Why Africa, Why Now session, which is going to be hosted by me and my good partner, Ife, also Daniel, the founder of Say So Global. So we are boots on the ground in West Africa too. Your girl, Miss Cass, is international. I am not playing any games. And I'm bringing it all back to Chicago. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful Wednesday. It's your girl, Miss Cass. Where's Miss Cass? I'm glad you asked. Hey, Chicago.
Introduced to Cassandra, aka the Dream Team.
Happy Friday. So guys, I am here with Miss Cass at one of the beautiful properties in Woodlawn. We are actually on market. How are the condos? Is a condo a good purchase? And
Yeah, that's not the way to go.
don't do it. That is not